everybody, I'm John Evarts from California Leasing, and welcome back to Agents in Community. I'm here with the great Rebecca Mendoza from Equity Union Real Estate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. You know what I just realized? It's been over a year since you called me and said, I have this really great idea, I want to run it past you. Can you believe it's been over a year?
No, it seems like a couple of months.
I know. I think it's been well over a year, but you got to tell everyone about this great idea.
Well, thank you very much for bringing me on and talking about this, because I do think it's very impactful for both the community at large and our community, our business community.
100%.
So, what it is, just really quickly, is a network of professionals who serve the senior demographic in our community.
And it's called?
Serving Our Seniors, SOS. And the reason that I found it to be really important is I just think it's an underserved demographic in terms of charity and people paying attention to them and noticing them. And really, I think it was time.
Well, and didn't you say like you found yourself working with a lot of either senior citizens who were trying to sell their home or their kids who were trying to help the parents sell the home?
Yeah.
And so that kind of spurred this idea of, man, this is not efficient. Like the way we're serving this demographic is not efficient.
Right. Well, it was twofold. So there's two things that happen kind of simultaneously, which is number one, after COVID, which we were just talking about a minute ago. I noticed for my own business, it was good, really good going for the first couple of years, but then interest rates happened, different things happened in the world that made us as real estate agents have to really 10 times our efforts in order to keep doing business. And what I realized was that I had stopped networking because of COVID. I stopped being in front of people.
I actually got very awkward. Like the first time I went back to a networking group after COVID, I was like,
shy?
Yeah,
not awkward, knowing what to say, awkward.
Like, I don't want to be here.
Yes, exactly. It was I found that it wasn't just me. It was you, and it was almost every other business person that I started kind of talking to and meeting with. Again, the theme was not in the groove of being out in front of people anymore. And for our businesses and most people's business, I'll assert that face-to-face, getting in front of people, that's how we get business.
Well, especially in a city like Santa Clarita.
Well, yes, 100%. Right?
So we go down this path. By the way, we ended up founding Serving Our Seniors.
Yes.
Rebecca is our fearless leader. I have the privilege of being involved with the board of directors there. We're a 501c3. We're in the process of being official with that, but we can operate. But there's two arms, right? So just briefly tell us about the two arms, and then we want to focus on that one side today.
So the two arms are the businesses that run the network itself, where we get together, we talk about what are the needs in the area, how do we help each other with our own businesses, reach out and educate each other on what's happening in those individual industries that are going to impact our clients. Because that's really the most important thing, is being knowledgeable enough for our clients to give them the information and referrals to those people that need them. So that's one arm.
People we can trust to refer to.
And that's the most important piece of it, is when you're dealing or helping seniors, there is a much higher level of trust, a much higher level of integrity, I think, that people have to have, because they're a
demographic that gets taken advantage of.
They are a vulnerable demographic.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So but going back to our industries change, and we need to be able to let our seniors know when we're serving them that if it's a legal change that impacts them, if it's a financial change that impacts them, like Social Security and different things happen, I can't speak to that. That's not my area of expertise. And when we're dealing with housing or downsizing, sometimes those things come into play, and I need to bring people in, which, you had asked me kind of how it came about, which was I found myself, I've been selling real estate for 26 years in Santa Clarita and the surrounding areas, and I found as my clients started getting a little older, I had multiple deals with certain people over year.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I was having to refer a lot more people as my clients got older. If we were downsizing, even going into maybe a single-story house from their two-story house, or maybe they were going into a retirement community or
Right.
residential care facility, or even moving out of state. The theme is they got a lot of stuff,
Yep.
sometimes deferred maintenance in their homes.
Well, and the older you get, the more difficult it becomes to do all those things yourself.
Yes.
So a lot of it just kind of falls to the wayside.
Right, and another part of that is bringing in the family members. So I also notice when I'm working with seniors or older folks, a lot of times their families are involved in their decisions. They're involved with helping them physically move things around, pack,
Right.
different stuff like that. And sometimes people don't have those families that are close by. So
Right.
then what happens? How do we help people who don't have the family and the circle of friends to help support them?
So that's the main arm. That's the arm we're working on right now. The other
Right.
arm is a philanthropic arm that we're still building out. But what we wanted to really focus on today was building this network of professionals that are trusted, that they might not have an industry that is focused on seniors, but it's a service that is definitely needed in the senior community, and we want to make sure that that's being offered in a trustworthy way, I think is.
Yeah, and I want to, we have a saying that we usually refer to when we're talking about our children, right? Like, it takes a village. We talk about that when we're
Yeah.
raising our children, going to school together and things like that. But that's the same thing when it comes to people who are in their later years.
Yep.
It takes a village to support and care for them. And we kind of have a built-in village of people when our children are in school and they're in sports, and we can kind of get together and we're supporting them around that. But as the adults and the seniors, we don't have the same networks.
And it makes sense why, but it's still, it sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks. And so I can feel that I'm getting older, and I imagine that it's going to feel like it snuck up on me
Yeah.
when it happens, and so then it sneaks up on you, and you weren't prepared for it because
Right.
it snuck up on you. So we're trying to work not only with the seniors but also with their family members, like you were talking about. Either if there's a situation where someone got behind, or just planning because you can kind of see these changes in your life coming. So if someone has a business that they feel like serves the senior community or can serve the senior community, how can they get involved with our organization?
Well, absolutely reach out to us. You can go to our website, which is sosnetwork.org, and you can get a little information about us that is facing the general community for the seniors and the families of seniors. But as a professional, you can get a lot of information and know like when we meet and what that looks like. You can always call me, which is...
That right now, that's the best way.
That's
I
my favorite
I think
way.
we're at about like 12 different businesses are involved right
in
now.
our core group, yes.
In our core group. So we still have a lot of room in our core group for some growth. And then also we have kind of an ancillary group that businesses can also join if they don't have the bandwidth to make a time commitment once a month, and working some special events. But get involved. Like, how
Well,
big
there's-
is this demographic?
And there's huge benefits to being involved. Number one, and I always lead with the philanthropy piece of it.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
The contribution. We all really want to feel like we're contributing to something. But beyond that also, there definitely is an advantage to networking with other businesses who are serving this demographic.
Totally.
Because, for example, we work with, everybody wants to age in place. That's the ideal. People want to stay home. I never want to move. It's not always feasible.
That's why they don't want to talk to me, because we help people who are not going to age in place.
That's right. Well, and the thing is that they want to, but it's not always feasible. So two things you spoke to, like that preparation and
Yeah.
getting ready.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we end up in the picture, it sometimes can be an emergency,
Yep.
or it's
I would
urgency,
say
not
usually,
emergency. Yeah.
Usually it's urgent.
Right.
Urgent need.
And so we want to, you and I, people like you and I, we'd like to get to people before the urgency stage because it's a lot more relaxed. They have a lot more options than if they are thrust into some kind of urgent situation. And so going back to when we're meeting with other people who are in this industry, take somebody who does in-home care, right? They're in the home, they're helping the senior, and they're noticing more of a decline. They're noticing, hey, I don't think this person should be living alone much longer. They're communicating with the family. They're kind of the first line of this person may have to make a move. So that would, if they have to go into like a retirement community like we spoke to, we've got Bruce who's a placement agent, and he works at no cost to the senior to place them. And so they would, have a conversation with Bruce. And by the way, we frame it for these people that there's no obligation to use us. We're here for information.
We're a resource networking
Yes.
group.
And that's a very important thing to distinguish, because going back to the trust factor, we want people who are trustworthy and not just going after the dollar, but they're going after the really supporting and educating the families more than anything on options.
The thing I loved when you came to me with the idea is that it was a super clear win-win situation.
Right.
Right? And I love win-win situations. That's like my passion, is trying to find win-win situations and put deals together where everybody wins. And that's really what this organization is. The seniors are being offered a one-stop place to go and find pretty much any resource we need is the goal.
Right.
And then the people who are involved are gaining business from a demographic that needs the services. We're not selling vacuum cleaners to people who don't own carpets, right? So I'm really grateful that you didn't let the idea die, that you wrote it down, you reached out to me, reached out to Scott, we got together and had lunch, and this plan came together like the A-team back in the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the foundation has been set.
Yeah.
We are starting, the trajectory is starting to go up. So
we have momentum.
We have momentum, and now is the best time to reach out and see if this group is something that you'd like to participate in.
Awesome. We hope you join, and we appreciate you joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Agents in Community.